This is Gemara Nazir Daf Lamid Beis. Apologies, we're a little bit late on today's shiur, but hopefully moving forwards we'll be getting up today, which is Friday, Shabbos, Sunday, all before Shabbos in order to set ourselves up to be back on pace. So we pick it up from the Mishnah on the bottom of Lamid Aleph Amid Beis, in which the Mishnah teaches Misha Nodar bin Nazir. If someone makes a Neder Naziris, someone accepts Naziris. And what happens? Vinishal l'chacham, and he asks a chacham to get rid of his nazirus. He has whatever rich reason he's trying to undo it was a mistake, etc. And what happens? Ve'asrai, and the chacham does not concur. The chacham says, "I'm sorry, you still are in your nazirus." So he has to continue his nazirus. Now, the detail that is not explicit in the Mishnah is that in the interim, he went and he violated his Nazirus. He made a Nezder and Naziris, and then he went and he drank wine. After he drinks wine, he goes to the Tava Chacham, and he asks the Chacham that, I made myself this type of Naziris, is it real, is it not? He tries to undo it, and the Chacham says no. So he has to continue his Naziris. The question is, the fact that he drank wine in the interim, does he now have to restart? Does he count those days, etc.? Says the Mishnah, the din is Moine Misha Shenadar. He continues counting the Naziris from the day that he made it originally. Continues the Mishnah, which of course sounds like that he didn't lose any days, he doesn't have to add on any days, there's nothing additional. He just continues as if nothing happened. The Gemara, of course, will discuss. Case number 2 in the Mishnah, Nisha l'chacham ve'tiroi. Let's say he's asked the Chacham, and the Chacham indeed is Meikol and is Mefer his Neder Naziris. Haisla behema mufreshes. If he already separated an animal for the Naziros, what's the halacha? Teitze v'tira be'eder, goes out, it grazes with all the other animals. It is not kadosh, cause the Naziris is undone, and therefore the animal is a regular animal and is not a carbon. And this, of course, Amru Beisil Beishami, this should sound familiar. Iyatem Oidim, Beisil says to Beishami, 1 second. We just learned that the animal goes out and it's completely not holy. But ask Beisil to Beishamai, Iyatem Oidim, do you not concur? Bazeh, Shu Hektish, Tois, do you not concur that this was a mistake? That when he separated the animal, he of course did not know that it would ultimately be rid of his Nazirus. So the separating of his animal should have been a mistake. And it's going to go out and it's going to graze. Meaning, this brings us back to yesterday's daf. According to Bishamai, hektish, b'tois, havi hektish, nadar b'tois, havi nadar, tarum. So in this case, it shows a mistake, but it still should have the din of hektish, of kadosh. So ask Beisil l'Beishamai, how do you learn out this case? Because in this case, clearly it's not. We said the animal goes out and there is no kedusha. So Amr lehen Beishamai responds to Beis Hillel. Iyatem moedim, do you not agree? But Mishatov, so made a mistake. V'kar l'tshi asir, we're talking about meiser. The 10th animal that comes out is meiser. It's given to the Beis Hamikdash, to the Kohen, etc. But what happens if as he's counting the animals on the way out, number 9 comes out, Vikara litishi asiri. He makes a mistake and he calls number 9 10. And then he says, Ula asiri chi. And then he says, oh shoot, and he calls number 10 number 9. And then Ula charasar asiri, number 11, becomes number 10. What's the halacha? Shu mikudash. All of them are holy, 9 and 11, because he called them 10. And 10 is number 10. So says Beishamai back to Beis Hillel, that in this case, all the animals are kadosh. Amrlan Beis Hillel responds, Loi, I disagree, says Beis Hillel. Hashevet kadsha. You can't bring me a raya from this case. In this case, the shevet, the stick, that's what makes it kadosh. And he doesn't have it on its own. It's because he by mistake said it is kadosh. Uma iluta. But what if he made a mistake? Let's say he called the 8th, 10th, Vashnei Maser, the 12th. So what's the halacha? Of course, the halacha is Shema Asa Klum. Did he do anything? Of course not. Shema Asa Klum. Of course not. Ella, so what's the reason in this case when he called 9, 10, and 11, 10, and then 10 by itself? What's the reason? Ella kasav shekidesh asirihu. You know what the reason is? Because the pasuk says the asiri is kadosh. Kidesh, who kidesh atashi? And he went and he sanctified the 9th by calling the 9th 10, and we turn over to Amid Beis, Amid Aleph, V'achad Asar. V'esachad Asar, and as well the 11th. So that's the debate, Beishami Beis Hillel, whether Hektish or Tayis is Hektish or not. Of course, this brings us back to yesterday's daf, which we discussed this extensively. Says the Gemara, Mani Masnisan. Who is the Tana of our Mishnah? Says the Gemara, Loi Rav Yosi v'loi Rabbanan. The Mishnah does not concur with neither Rav Yosi nor the Rabbanan. Who's Rav Yosi? Who's the Rabbanan? Titan, you learned in a Brayse Mishnah Nadav Raval Nizirusai. So it makes a neder Niziros, and what happens? He transgresses. He's avar al Nizirusai. He drinks wine. Example. What's the halacha? Ein niskakin lai. We do not count those days that which he, ein niskakin lai. We don't deal with him to get rid of his nazirs. Elohim kain, but rather what does he do? Maina, he counts bahem in them iser ki yamim shenag bahem heter. The amount of days that he was noyik heter, the amount of days that he drank wine, he has to add on those days. Let's say he drank wine for 3 days. He adds on those 3 days at the end of the Nazirus. That is the Tanakama, that is the Rabbanan. Rav Yosi Omer, no. He adds on 30 days. So asks and articulates the Gemara how our Mishnah is like neither of these opinion. I Rabbanan, Kasha Nazirus Muetas. If it's Rabbanan, he should have to add on a few days, and the Mishnah didn't say that. What did our Mishnah say? Our Mishnah says, Maina Misha Shenadar, you just keep on counting. And here Rav Yosi, Kasha Nazirus Meruba, you should have to add on the 30 days. Answers the Gemara, Ibayis Tema, Rav Yosi, Ibayis Tema, Rabbanan, either one could fit. Ibayis Tema, Rav Yosi, Kamin Nazirus Meruba, Kamin Nazirus Muatas. When does Rav Yosi you add an extra 30 days by Nazirus Muatas? But our Mishnah is going to be by Nazirus Meruba, and therefore it's not going to have the same halacha. V'yibayis Tema Rabbanan, or you can say it's Tema Rabbanan, Loi Tema, Misha Shenazar, Elaima Ke Misha Shenazar. That when the Mishnah said that he continues counting the days in Nazirus Misha Shenazar, it doesn't mean go all the way back to the beginning. It means Ke Misha Shenazar. It means similar from the amount of time that he made the neder. But of course, he'll have to add on the days that he drank wine, like the Chachamim taught us. We continue as the Gemara, about 14 lines down. The first one line is Shenazar at the 2 days. That comes to quote the next stage of the Mishnah. From Beis Shammai, says Rav Yirmiyah, we can learn how Beis Hillel, meaning Lav Amri Beis Shammai, the Beis Shammai not hold that what hektish b'tayis have the hektish. And kivan egloi milsa the lav shabi or nazar. But once they reveal that it's not good that he made himself a nazir, so therefore, what's the din according to Beis Shammai? Even though according to Beis Shammai, normally hektish b'tayis is a good hektish, but if here it won't be. Lebeis Hillel nami avagav da'armi temura b'tayis have a temura, even though generally by temura, Beis Hillel holds it is a good temura. Hani milecha da'asi le'ikar hektish avalecha dimisaker ikar hektish isaker nami truma. Temura, Even the case of Temura will not be applicable because that's only as we spoke about yesterday, where there is sanctity, there is Kedusha on one item, and I'm transferring it over to the next item. But we're discussing whether there is Kedusha in the first place. Therefore says the Gemara, it will not be comparable to the din of regular Temura. We continue about halfway down the 2 dots. Itmar, says the Gemara, let's quote a Braisa. Ma'aser Rav Nachman number 2, so like Kavanasai, Rav Chisda Rav Rachana Amar to Usai, we call Shekein Kavanasai. So we have a machlekes over here. What is the story with the meiser giving the 10th animal to the kohen, separating the appropriate meiser behema? Rav Nachman says that it only works, the din of the Mishnah, that the 9th animal becomes kadosh if it was a mistake, says Rav Nachman. But if you on purpose try to do that, then it does not work. Rav Nachman says no, it works by mistake. Certainly it works on purpose. So Amalei Rav Nachman. So Rav asks Rav Nachman, who's the first opinion. Again, Rav Nachman says that it only works if it's a mistake, not if it's b'kavana. Says Rav, Lididach Ta'amritus of Kavanah. Say only if it's a mistake, not if on purpose. Tekamri Beishami LeBeisel. That which Beishami said to Beisilel. Iyata Moidev Shilu Kara. Letshi Asir Asir Achiyu Lachar Asar Asi Sheshlosha Mikudashin. Ve'eshteku Beisilel. So asks Rav to Rav Nachman, 1 second. The case in the Mishnah was that they mixed them all up. And what happened? Beisil was quiet. But asks Rava to Rav Nachman, why was Beisil quiet? Lamer Lahaini should have said, so to here won't be Kadosh B'Kavana. So Amar I've seen you Barashi, I knew time. You know why? Damir Lahain, the Kal V'Chaimer. Because it's a Kal V'Chaimer. So maybe even though it might make sense to say what you're saying, but we have a Kal V'Chaimer teaching us other reasons. Ma meiser sheinay kadosh b'kavana. Yet it is kadosh b'tois. Hektish akidish b'kavana. Loi kol shekein. It says the Gemara. No, it's not a good kavachayim of lohi. The hektish b'daita demare Italia. Hektish has its own rules because hektish is completely subjective to the das, to the mindset, to the consecration of the owner, and therefore we can't bring a raya from there. We pick it up from the Mishnah on the bottom of Lamed Beis and Aleph. Misha Nadar bin Nazir Valach Lavi as Be'emtei, someone has in his ears, he goes bring an animal, Matzah Shenagvai, and you find, the animal's not here. So Nazar, if he started the Nazirus before the animal was stolen, Harei Nazir. Then the Nazirus is Yaschal, as we turn over to Lamed Beis and Mebis. But Misha Nagvai Be'emtei, he just didn't know about it. But really the animal was stolen. And after the animal was stolen, he mishenag by behema nazar. That's when he makes himself into a nazir. Then it qualifies the brisa einai nazir. Then you don't have a din of a nazir. V'zu tois. This was the mistake that Nacham Hamadai, the Nacham Hamadai made kisha Allah nizirim min hagayla. That Nazirim came up from Galus at the time of the Beis HaMikdash, and they came up all excited. We finally can bring your Karbana. This is before the Chorban. But they came in, and lo and behold, the Matzu Beis HaMikdash Charav. Unfortunately, they missed the boat. The Beis HaMikdash was already destroyed. So Amr and Nacham Hamadai, the first opinion of the Mishnah, Nacham Hamadai says, Ilo Yisem Yodish Beis HaMikdash Charav, HaYisem Nazrim. He asked the people, if you would have known there was no Beis HaMikdash, would you ever have started your Naziros? Amr Loi, they responded Loi. Ve'etiron, and therefore he was mikol with them. Nacham Hamadai, Ve'etiron Nacham Hamadai, excuse me. And Nacham Hamadai was mikol. When the Chachamim got wind of this, Amru, they said, Kol she'nazar ad sh'chara Beis HaMikdash is indeed a Nazir. Sh'chara Beis HaMikdash ain't a Nazir. Say the Chachamim, let's call it a bit more practical. It's not if you knew. Tachlis, if you made the Naziris before the Naziris was destroyed, then the Naziris is Chal. If it was after the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed, then it is not Chal. Says the Gemara, or at the beginning of the Gemara, about 12 lines down on the Beis HaMikdash. Amar Rabba, Shadvu Rabbanan the Rav Eliezer, says Rabba, the Rabbanan swept up the opinion of Rav Eliezer, V'okmi B'shita say, and they were moikim, they established a Mishnah according to their opinion. Ditchanan, we learned in a Mishnah by Yischim bin Naila, Divrei Rav Eliezer, Chamayim Oisrin, Yelti Paiseach, able to open up and give someone a Pesach to get rid of his vow, via Noilad, be a new created details. Says Rav Eliezer, yes! I don't care that the details just emerge right now. You can still use it for a Pesach. Like Chamim adamantly refuse, and they say no. Aisrim, you only allowed to use the details that were there all along. Ve'amar Rava, and on this, Rava comes along to explain the Chachamim Avgav them Rabbanim Ein Paschim in Noilad. Aval Paschim b'tinai Noilad. If he said it explicit, then we use that as a Pesach for his neder. Hey Chidami, what's the case? Amr Lahain Ilu Ata Inish, V'Amr Lachain Dechar Beis Hamikdash, Mi Havin Nadir Ton. They said to him, you say that even Ilu Asa Inish, if when you made the neder, someone would have come and told you that the Beis Hamikdash was already destroyed. Well, you never made the neder. Of course, that's the reason why it's a good Pesach. Says the Gemara, Amr Av Yosef, if I was there, I would have said to him, what do you mean you don't know the Beis Hamikdash is destroyed? Haksiv, the Pasuk says, Yichel Hashem, Yichel Hashem, Yichel Hashem, referring to the three Batei Mikdash. So clearly, Yichel Hashem, Hema Zem Mikdash Rishon and Mikdash Sheni. So clearly it was going to be destroyed. So answers the Gemara, a good psychological lesson. Eventually it was going to get destroyed. But did you know when? And therefore you always were never sure if this is going to be the day. Amar Abaya, asks Abaya, so they not know when it will be destroyed. 70 years. Answers the Gemara, we don't know what day those 70 years start from, and that's the reason why it will not be Chal. We'll pick it up from the Mishnah the next year.